Okay, we're here today with Dr. Bill Nichols, who is going to share with us some of his hints and tips from his career and as a business person and these days an academic. So thanks very much, Bill, for being with us.
It's a pleasure.
So tell us a little bit about how you actually got started in the world of business. What's your background?
Well, the world of business, after I left university and did the time-honoured bid in the city, which I hated, I discovered that advertising, public relations was kind of my thing.
Mm-hmm.
And over the next 10 years probably acquired the experience, worked for a couple of the really big boys, worked in-house. I had an excellent boss who suggested to me that you garnered a lot of experience before you took the plunge.
Right.
So I think probably as early as maybe 23, 24, I knew it's what I wanted to do, but it was well into my mid-30s before I did.
Right.
And even then, in retrospect, I probably didn't know enough. Because like most people, I think it's okay these days in the UK to have had something of a flop first.
Mm.
Time was, if you admitted to that, you were dead. Whereas in America, it's like a badge of honor that you had a business failure. So I now freely admit that the first time out, I wasn't that great. And that leads, I think, to my first tip, that if you're going to run a serious business, you need to be on top of some of the key stuff.
Right.
But especially the money. The money is absolutely crucial. I see lots of people, and over the years I've mentored quite a few, who are really intelligent guys, have great creative ideas maybe, are very focused on a particular market. But the whole process of running a business, structuring it, recruiting people, counting the cash, making sure there's money in the tin on a Friday night, all of that kind of thing just doesn't go with them. And they're very reluctant often to hire somebody to do it for them as well. So I think you end up with lots of stunted small businesses, or indeed the explanation of many of the failures.
So you were saying that you admit to having a bit of a flop in the beginning.
Absolutely.
What's changed? What changed to...
Well, second time out, I think I probably chose wisely in terms of the business partner I had. She and I were a great complement.
Mm-hmm.
She was the extrovert, blonde, classic bombshell type, and I could do the manage the business bit. But also I think what changed was that we'd really done our homework.
Right.
We did everything meticulously. So from day one of that business, we actually had a business plan. Now, it's the sort of thing that people talk about a lot in textbooks, or venture capitalists say, where's the business plan?
Mm.
But that's all a bit highfalutin. The reality is that from day one, you at least need one piece of paper that sets out what you're trying to achieve and why.
Mm.
If you can't actually even put that down on one side of paper, you're struggling. We had that. It grew steadily. We put the processes around it. Actually, on the money side, we ensured we never borrowed any money with the main business.
Mm.
I think technically we borrowed £3,000 for the first 6 weeks. And after that, we never ever borrowed a penny again.
Mm.
The bank detested us. But over 15 years, we built up a very substantial business with other businesses that we subsequently spun off. But the core
Right.
business, we ended up in 3 countries, 50, 60 people. But no. In fact, we used to really irritate suppliers because we wanted to buy everything cash. We didn't like to buy equipment on leasing. Anything that created a nasty liability, we didn't like.
And what was your business, if you could just...
The main business was a PR consultancy and part marketing consultancy that was specialising in technology. That was very much my background.
Right.
Ways back when, I guess I learned a lot about being an entrepreneur by working for Clive Sinclair in his heyday. This is his publicity director for 3 years. And so we focused on technology. We ended up working for a lot of blue chip brands. And we gradually built the business both here and subsequently overseas. We opened in Paris 6 or 7 years in, that kind of thing.
So these days you are you're doing some lecturing, is that correct?
Well, I'm partly an academic, but I almost said double, and I don't mean that. I'm very actively involved in a couple of businesses away from academia.
Right, okay.
One's a property business, and another is a consulting business. not a PR one.
So what do you prefer when you're meeting someone new? Do you say I'm a businessman, or I'm a lecturer, I'm an academic?
Well, actually, because the world of academia is changing so fast and it's having to become very business orientated, I'm now quite comfortable to get people to pause for thought because I say I'm a hybrid. At the time that wasn't okay. You went into universities as a business guy and it was very much, keep away. And conversely, an academic in business world, what does that mean? But today I think both sides are valuing that. The world of business has learned about analytics and it talks jargon like evidence-based management. It means get the facts.
Yeah.
But on the academic side, they realize they have to earn money from sources other than government grants. And that's transforming the way universities appreciate the value of their assets, because they've got huge assets. I don't just mean infrastructure, but they've got all the intellectual property, the people, the goodwill, in some cases quite fantastic brand names. And imagine you could float Cambridge University tomorrow. What do you think that will be worth?
Ooh, my head will explode. I can't even think of numbers that large.
Yeah, but it's the potential's enormous. Yeah. So it's that kind of hybrid status that I actually thrive on, and I think it works. It really works in the classroom, because whenever I'm talking to students, and that's where I get my biggest buzz is working with the students, is that I can flip-flop between the textbook and the practical example.
Right.
Not just a practical example from 5 or 10 years ago, but it could be a practical example from yesterday. And they really engage well with that, I think.